Good morning, York Alliance. This is a new video feature that we're calling the York Alliance Weekly. It's intended so that we can hear and be encouraged by what God's been doing with our leaders, our local, and our global partners. See, Sunday has traditionally been a time where we've been together in person, able to encourage and to worship Jesus as a congregation. Unfortunately, because of this unusual summer, that's been difficult to do and we've had to move to Zoom meetings. But moving forward, we're trying to get back to in-person meetings, so we're going to what are called zone meetings. Pastor Brian is going to be telling you all about this at one of the locations, which is the York 4-H Center. So I'm going to pass you to him, and he can tell you all about it.
Hey York Alliance, we're so excited for this coming weekend. Sunday, June 14th are our first live and in-person worship gatherings. So we have 4 different ways that you can engage worship this coming Sunday morning. First of all, at the first location is right here at the York County 4-H Center. This is right off Stoverstown Road in West York. So as you're going through West York and you turn towards Spring Grove and Hanover, you'll be able to see signs for the 4-H Center. And we'll show you a little bit more about that here in just a minute. There's also a location at John Rudy Park, which is in North York, right north of Central York High School. That's off of Mundus Race Road. As you come in off the Mundus Race Road entrance, you'll see that there's a paved lot, and the Eastern Hemlock Pavilion is right there at that paved lot. And then the third location is William Kane Park in Jacobus off of Hess Farm Road. We'll be in the Perch Pavilion at William Kane Park, and we'd love to see you at any of those 3. But if a live and in-person location is not good for you right now for any variety of reasons, the other option is that right here on this YouTube page, we'll have a streaming worship service that will begin at 8:30, but will be accessible all through the morning. So anytime you want to access that, right here on this YouTube page, you would be able to do that as well. Well, let's walk back in. You can see the way the setup's going to look, and we'll talk a little bit more about what those morning services are going to look like. On to the pavilion. So here we are at the York County 4-H Center. There are going to be 3 pavilions like this all around the county where we're going to gather together on Sunday morning. As you can see, it's a covered pavilion, and so although there's a little bit of rain forecast right now for Sunday morning, we'll be out of the elements. It doesn't look like it's going to be bad. However, if the elements are bothersome to you, we do continue to have the video option available to you. As you come to all of these different gatherings, there are a series of guidelines that we'd ask you to follow if you're going to be with us for these in-person gatherings. First of all, we're going to ask that you don't touch one another. I know you're going to want to hug, you're going to want to give a handshake or a high five, but we're going to ask you to restrain yourselves and greet one another without touching one another. Secondly, we're going to ask that you have a face mask available just in case. Masks are not required, but if we do want you to have them available, especially at our county parks, at John Rudy and William Kane, masks are required in the bathroom facilities, and so you would need to have one for that. At any of our gatherings, if we end up closer together, we want to have masks available just in case. Third, if you have children with you, we're asking that you keep your children with either their parents or their extended family throughout the duration of our gathering. We know that can be a little bit challenging, and parents are tackling that lots of different ways. We will have a children's activity box available that will have coloring pages and colored pencils to be able to engage with kids, and you're welcome to bring activities for them as well. But we are going to ask that you keep them with you for roughly the hour duration of the gathering. There are some parents who are saying that one parent is going to come to the 8:30 and another one to the 10:30 in order to minimize the challenge with children. That's totally fine. Let us know if there are ways that we can help you in the process. We know this can be a really challenging time. Number 4, we're going to ask that you socially distance as you come in so that you would sit roughly 6 feet apart from one another, as well as in our conversations that we would stay roughly 6 feet apart from one another. And then finally, the guideline that kind of umbrellas all of them, which is that we would care for one another and therefore freely give up our own freedoms in order to care well for one another. The Bible is really clear that one of the ways that we live out the gospel is by preferring one another's desires over our own. And that sometimes means giving up our freedoms. We recognize that everybody's at a different place right now. And so in order to make this a safe place for as many people as possible, we're asking you to follow those guidelines and to willingly release your own freedom in order to care well for others. Also, we want to make one of our gatherings specifically available for those who have higher risk at this point in this COVID-19 journey. So if you have a higher risk, the William Kane Park 8:30 gathering would be a perfect place for you. We're asking people to wear masks the entire time during that gathering, and we're going to take a variety of different safety precautions as well to make that as safe of a gathering as possible. All of the other ones, the 8:30 and the 10:30 at John Rudy and here at the 4-H Center, as well as the 10:30 at William Kane, will follow the guidelines that I mentioned earlier. We are going to be celebrating communion at each of our gatherings this week, and so we're so excited to be able to do that in person. At each of the 6 gatherings in the parks, we'll be supplying communion elements, but if you're watching from home, can I encourage you to have a piece of bread and some juice ready to be able to celebrate with us from home as well, so that we all together can celebrate the body and blood of our Lord Jesus as we celebrate together this week. We're excited to finally be able to be together. I know this is a new way of doing it, but it's a great opportunity to invite friends and neighbors and to be able to engage in worship outside together and with one another. And so hopefully we'll get to see you on Sunday morning.
It can be difficult to sit through a Sunday sermon as a kid, which is why Beth Wharton has actually put together a specially designed Bible adventure called Rocky Railway, and I'm going to let her tell you all about it.
All aboard! Calling all families with children 3 years old through 5th grade. We want you to get on track with our upcoming summer program called Rocky Railway. Jesus' power pulls us through. Trust Jesus! Trains move things, and this summer we're doing things differently. Our church is also on the move, but we're all learning to trust Jesus as his power pulls us through this difficult time. Here's the ticket. There's a few things we want you to know. Rocky Railway will begin in a couple weeks, June 28th. That week you'll get your first episode. It'll be emailed to you, and these episodes have been recorded by our very own children's ministry team. So I'm super excited for your kids to get to see many of their teachers and people that they know from here at York Alliance. So each week, through the rest of the summer, you'll get an episode each week that they can watch and enjoy, and I'm sure that you're going to be singing the songs by the end of the summer as well. We need you to tune back in and be checking your email in the next couple weeks because we have all these important details to share with you. So please check your emails. We send out a weekly children's newsletter. So if you haven't been receiving that, and you used to, check your spam folder in case it's going to the wrong place. And if you've never signed up or you're not sure, go to our website, yorkalliance.org/children, and at the bottom of the page, you can sign up to receive our weekly children's newsletter. So that would be an important detail to take care of sooner rather than later. Next, we would love for your family to think about another family, maybe a neighbor or cousin, someone that might not be willing to come with you to church on Sundays, but maybe they would enjoy coming to your house to enjoy Rocky Railway with your kids. So think about that, pray about it, and then communicate with us. Kristen is going to add a survey in this week's email, and it will give you a place to tell us how many packets you would need for preschool age kids or elementary children. So we want to hear back from you because we're putting together a summer stash bin. It will be full of all the things your kids are going to need to enjoy Rocky Railway, so we can include your friends' packets as well, so you have everything you need at your house. And the way you're going to get those is we're having a 2-day Drive by York Alliance to pick up your summer stash box. So that's going to be on Friday, June 19th from 12 to 2, and then Saturday, the very next day, June 20th from 10 to 12. So all you would need to do is drive around the back of the church, and we'll be here to warmly greet you and hand you your bin, send you off for a summer that's going to be packed with lots of fun. If you have any questions or you're totally confused, Feel free to email me, bwharton@yorkalliance.org or kmitchell@yorkalliance.org, and we would be happy to clear up the confusion. So hope that you guys will be excited and that your kids will have a super summer spreading the love of Jesus.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing time, Miss Beth. I kind of wish that I could be a kid so I could be a part of that again. We actually do have one final spot though, and that's from Pastor Brian. He's going to tell you about a membership class. I'm going to pass you over to him.
Thanks, Kira. I want to invite you to a membership class that we're going to be holding at York Alliance on June 20th, Saturday, June 20th, from 7:30 in the morning until 12:30. Now, I know that's early, and so if you'd like to bring a coffee cup, I will be glad to fill it up. Because of restrictions with the virus, we're not going to be able to offer refreshments during that time, but I know 7:30 is early and we're going to cover theology. So if you need some coffee, I totally understand. We'll be glad to make sure that you have some. This membership class is an opportunity for those of you who are not yet members at York Alliance to investigate what that looks like, to find out why you would want to become a member, to find out who we are as a church, some of the foundations that we're built upon, the theological beliefs that we hold tightly to, and why we hold tightly to those beliefs. You'll get to understand a little bit more about why we do what we do and how we're structured. And you'll get to find out how you fit the heart of the church and how we are engaged both in our local community and all around the world. It's a great opportunity to be able to connect, and I want to invite you to do that. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to offer childcare due to the restrictions that we have at this time. So if you have kids, if they're ready to sit through a 5-hour membership class, they are more than welcome. But if not, you may need to find care for your kids during this time. We're shooting this in the lobby because this is literally where we're going to be. We will be meeting in person. We'll be spread out, so things will be distanced, doors will be open, and we'll create some airflow that'll be happening here. But we really want to have this class in person because it's a great opportunity to connect. And so if you come, we'd love to be able to get to know you a little bit better, tell you a little bit more about the church. And you're not obligated to anything. So if you are ready to step into membership, we would be glad to schedule an interview following that time. But if you just want to find out information and then make a decision from there, that's also wonderful. We'd love to be able to see you. It's going to be next Saturday, June 20th, from 7:30 in the morning until 12:30. Hope I get to see you there.
So this is the end of our York Alliance Weekly this week. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully this tool will be some way that we can get to share with each other our stories of what God's been doing during our quarantine in a meaningful way. So I hope to see you next week.